Michael Jordan is not only the best basketball player, but he's the most exciting basketball player to ever play.
Tatum fires away, pumps it in, 51 for Jayson Tatum.
The Big Three NBA podcast is powered by PrizePicks and the Game Time app.
Welcome, people, to another edition of the Big Three NBA podcast. I'm Sherrod Blakely, joined by Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe. Kwani Lunis cannot join us today, but look, we got to handle our business, which is something that a lot of folks can't really say they're doing right about now. Boston Celtics. We're not going to get too deep into it, but
you're not gonna say no names.
I ain't gonna say no names, Boston Celtics. We ain't gonna say no names, Boston Celtics. But facts, man. But before we jump into this, just let folks know that you are listening to the Big Three NBA podcast, which is part of the CLNS Media Network. And this episode is brought to you by our good friends at PrizePicks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network, where you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. And again, you can check us out on all your podcasting apps and Spotify, YouTube, all that other good stuff. We are out there in those streets. Gary, I thought that at this point we will be talking about a 2-0 series. This is not quite what I had in mind. Celtics coming off a 91-90 loss to the New York Knicks in Game 2 of their second round series. And they're now in an 0-2 hole. They're the ones that are down 2-0 instead of being up 2-0. There is so much, Gary, that we can unravel with this one. I mean, you've got, just the horrible second halves that this team has played. Jayson Tatum ain't looking like top 5. He ain't even look like top 55 Jayson Tatum in some of these games. Porzingis got his issues. Jalen's got his issues. The bench, it is what it is. And they ain't even talking about Jalen Brunson doing what Jalen Brunson do, which is getting it done down the stretch. How do you go about making sense of what we're seeing, Gary? Like, what stands out to you from all the different issues that the Celtics are dealing with at this point? What are some of the things that jump out to you?
Yeah, I think it's just the whole thing is just a shock at this point. I mean, you looked at the 4 regular season meetings, and everybody, the Knicks were like, "Hey, that doesn't mean nothing." The Celtics like, "That doesn't mean nothing." It's all new season, new games. But you go off a resume and you look and you're like, these teams, this is not a good matchup for the Knicks. The Knicks can't stop threes. The Knicks aren't very good defensively, but because they've got two their main players, Brunson and Towns, are not good defenders. So you look at all the advantages for the Celtics. But then when it lays out in real life, in the real world, the Celtics are outplaying the Knicks through 3 quarters, and then the Knicks are taking their lunch money in the 4th. So it's very reminiscent of the Miami series a couple of years ago, and it's reminiscent of a team of the Celtics that just isn't sure of itself right now, which is just really weird because they're defending champs. But I think we're seeing why it's so hard to repeat. It's even hard to get back to the finals because teams are targeting you, they're coming after you, and weird, quirky things happen. The Celtics cannot make an open 3-pointer. They can't make an open shot. They're not getting production from players who usually produce. It's a mystery. It's a menagerie. It's Bermuda. it's the Bermuda Triangle. It is, one of those things we cannot figure out. We would never thought we would have guessed that they would have taken 100 3-pointers in the first 2 games combined. We would never guess they only hit 25. And then in game 2, they learned their lesson. Okay, we ain't going to take as many threes. So they took 20 fewer threes. Okay, learned our lesson. And then they make the same percentage. They made 10 and not 15 as they made for 60. So I can't figure it out. It's a lack of confidence. It's turning your head and looking behind. I talked to the great Bill Rhoden last night, who was at the game, the great former New York Times writer now with Anscape. And I was like, isn't this what the great Satchel Paige said? Don't look behind because you're going to get caught. I'm messing up his quote, but basically when you're running a race, you look forward and you bust your butt to the finish line. Don't look behind because somebody's going to catch you because you're worried about them and not yourself. And the Celtics, when they get up 20, they're looking behind. Oh, okay. Oh, it's 17. Oh, it's 12. Oh, like they're playing like a team that just, and I wrote in this paper, they're playing like a 16 seed that leads the 1 seed by 10 with 10 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to catch us. They're going to catch us. Oh, boy. They're going to start playing well. Oh, here we go. Oh, they hit a 3. Oh, my God. Like, what? We never expected this kind of mental breakdowns, physical breakdowns. I can't figure it out. Like, they are moderately healthy. I mean, Porzingis has been an issue, but Jaylen Brown hasn't complained about a knee. Jayson, who averaged 34 points a game in the season series with the Knicks, can't. He's getting stymied. He looks second rate out there. Like, I don't know how you can explain this, Sherrod. I don't know if you can. You let me know when you figure it out what just happened here, because you have thought 1-1, you would have thought the worst was going to be 1-1.
Right.
The Knicks were going to, the Celtics would be rusty. The Knicks catch them off guard. But the Celtics played well in game 1 until the fourth quarter. And then they did the same thing, 72-52. You're like, okay. And then the Knicks started playing with the confidence. Deuce McBride hit a couple of threes. Like, it's like, you're like, here we go. But then when it was 16 with 8 minutes left, you're like, okay, this is like,
they got this.
Ain't no way they coming back from 16 down with 8 minutes left. Then all of a sudden it was 9, and you're like, with 5 minutes left, and they missed 13 consecutive shots. When has the Celtics ever missed 13 consecutive shots? 7 of those 3. Like, when is that happening? So we're talking about stuff from 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. We're talking about Game 7 against the Cavs when they were 7 for 39 from 3. Like, we're talking about that stuff. And I can't figure it out. I mean, and the Knicks are much better than people expected. They're tougher than people expected, and they sense vulnerability. And the Celtics are playing like some chumps right now. They just playing like they're playing soft. I don't want to say it, but they soft right now. They're not the harder playing team, and they're not the team that's like, nah, you ain't taking this lead from us. Nah, we making the plays. Nah, we're diving in the stands for the loose ball. Nah, we're blocking this shit. We're not letting Josh Hart at 6'4" run up and get rebounds over 7-footers. We ain't letting that happen. The Celtics, I don't know what happened to them.
They look shook in every way, shape, and form. They look like a team that's playing what I like to call, which actually I don't like to call this, but it's what it looks like. It looks like they're playing fat and happy basketball. Like, we're good, nothing to see here, no worries. We're going to be all right. And look, this time of year, you can't play like that. You got to have a sense of urgency, and that sense of urgency has to be there not just at the opening tip-off or in the first quarter or the second quarter at halftime. It needs to be there throughout the game. And what we're seeing from this team is they've been outplaying the Knicks for the majority of the game, and then they just stop. I mean, and you look at all those 13, 14 misses in a row, there were at least 3 of those shots that were wide open. And the one that jumps out to me, and I know you're probably thinking it too, is that Tatum in the corner 3. I mean, he may never get a shot that open in a game in his life. I mean, and then the thing about it, the Knicks, they knew he was shook because they didn't even try to close out hard on him when they saw him there. They're just like, go ahead. And to me, that's the thing that has been so surprising is just how easily shook the Celtics look. It'd be one thing if this was a team that maybe had made some deep playoff runs and came up short. They still have a certain level of uncertainty as to what they can do and how far they can go. But these are the champs. And not only were they the champs, or they are the champs, but they were smashing kids. They weren't even wasting time last season. I mean, they were putting heads to bed ASAP. I mean, you had teams that, wanted to, like Indiana wanted to, yeah, we got this, let's go. And Indiana, they got put to bed real early. Lights were still on. The light outside, the street light was still on when they got put to bed. They couldn't even get the little sunset. Nah. They were put to bed early. And now the Celtics look as if they have no idea how they did that. And it's still early, obviously, and they still can come back and win this series. But if we continue down this path and their season is done in 4 or 5 games, people are going to look at their championship with an incredibly suspect eye. They're going to find all of the little things that worked in their favor that they had nothing to do with and use that as the basis for them winning a championship. And again, you're never going to take that Larry O'Brien trophy away from them, obviously. But this Celtics team was built not just to win the championship, but to build a legacy. when you think they brought everyone back, your best players are 27, 26 years old. You've got guys who can defend at a high level. You got guys that can make 3-point shots. You've got guys off the bench who have very specific niche roles, which when you're winning a championship, that's what you need. You need guys who are specialists. They got those, and none of that is working now. And it has been an incredible mystery. But if there's one silver lining for the Celtics, it's the fact that the series moves to New York. And most people say, well, that's a bad thing. Not for the Celtics. Not only did they have success against New York at Madison Square Garden, but they've had success against pretty much every other team when they roll up in their building. The Celtics, one of, if not the best road team this year. How do you think that is going to help them get back into the series? The fact that they have this track record of having success in other people's building.
Well, and I also think you can mention, Sherrod, your Detroit Pistons won twice at MSG during this series, and probably could have won a third time.
They should have,
if not for that 20-1 run in Game 1. They could have won all 3 times they played in New York in that series. So the Knicks are not invincible at home, but the Celtics have to worry about themselves. They can't worry about the crowd. They can't worry about the Knicks. They got to worry about like executing, hitting shots, being like going the extra mile. Like, do I think the series is over? No, I don't. But you know, in this NBA, weirder things happen. Like you mentioned last year, that the Denver-Minnesota series. Remember, right. I remember Minnesota wiped the floor with Denver the first 2 games in Denver, like just whooped their ass, right? And everybody was like, this series is over. Oh my God, the Timberwolves are going to the final. The Timberwolves are going to whoop, they're making Denver look, oh, damn, the dynasty is over, or the Denver run is over. The defending champs are getting dethroned. And the series went 7. Right. And Denver had a chance to win the series on their home floor, and they lost, and they blew a 20-point lead. Boy, have we heard that before. So it is not over, but we're going to see the kind of character and passion and fortitude the Celtics have here. Are they going to lay down? Remember, Sherrod, you were there. I was there 2 years ago. They were down 0-2 to Miami. They went to Miami, and they gave up in Game 3. Literally gave up. They played like some super chumps, right? They played like some busters, and young people look that up. That's not a good thing. Kids don't be a buster. And they gave up in that game, and I was like, oh my God, like these dudes are just literally just saying, Miami, you're better than us. Please beat us. Like, we're not ready. And then they come back and win the next 3 damn games and lost Game 7 at home.
And the only reason they lost Game 7 was because Tatum got hurt.
Yeah, Tatum got hurt. Miami played well in that game, so it's no guarantee. And Jalen had 9 turnovers or 8 turnovers. It was not Jalen's best moment, but they they flip the script like that. So we're gonna see the Celtics' character in Game 3. How much do you want this, or are you tired? You ready to go Cancun? Your wife's telling you, baby, I want to we need to take the kids out. It's May. Weather's getting good. Don't you want to be at home? Aren't you ready to eat some home cooking? Aren't you ready to chill for a minute? We're going to see how badly the Celtics want to extend their season. We're going to see what's in their hearts. And I know Joel wants to win, and he's got that, but he can't go out there and play for them, you know. And so we're going to see the character of this team in Game 3. If you lose by 1, it's frustrating. I mean, let's be honest. The Knicks have won the 2 games by a combined 4 points. Okay, so it's been close. So I would expect a close game. If not, I would expect the Celtics to win, because I think the Celtics have enough championship DNA and metal to go out there and go, you know what? We're the better effing team. We're going to prove it, just for, like Luther, if only for one night. Okay.
Wow.
If only for one night. Because at this point, you can't worry about no Game 4. Everything's got to go into Game 3. You just worry about Game 4 when it gets there. And as you know, Sherrod, you've been into some, we all know your famous Orlando-Detroit series where the Magic were like, oh, we got this, woo, and,
they talk about the next round.
Yeah, who we about to face? Who's our next opponent? I'm sure there's Knicks fans. Oh, hey, we're going to get Indiana. We're going to get a rematch with the Pacers. We got this. So you put a little doubt in the Knicks' head, And the Knicks now, if you win game 3, now are playing game 4 and go, we don't want to go back to Boston 2-2 because our luck might have run out because this team, we done woken up a sleeping giant. Because eventually you would think, Sherrod, shots are going to go down.
Right.
You eventually would bet. I think both of us would still go on and bet that the Celtics are going to hit more than 25% of their three-pointers in game 3. Eventually, it's going to even out. Eventually, Waters, now, will it be game 4? If they're down 0-3, maybe. It could be a little too late. But they got to make it happen now. So, will Jayson talked to us today, said he's confident he's going to be better. Jayson loves playing at MSG. He loves the moment. Well, this is your time, bruh. This is your time, Jayson, to be the best MF on the floor. Are you going to do it? Is the Celtics going to play like the more desperate team? Because the Knicks have played like that the first 2 games. The Celtics should be embarrassed by how hard they get outworked in the fourth quarter last 2 games.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not even close. I mean, as far as getting punked down the stretch. It's one of the last things you would expect from a team that doesn't have championship DNA. They champions. Forget about the whole in their blood. They've done this. They've run this marathon and they won it before. And to see them just kind of pull these Casper the Friendly Ghosts in the fourth quarter, it's shocking. It's shocking, and it's put their season, without any question, it's put their season in jeopardy. And because of that, we're going to play a game, and we're going to call it Celtics Jeopardy. Now, Gary, this is where you get to pick. You got some options, Gary, just like you would in that game show. Now, do you want to talk about Tatum's shooting struggles, Brown's bounce, as far as just him bouncing back and getting back to where he was pre-knee injury, or do you want to talk about bench play?
Let's talk about Tatum's troubles.
Okay. Now, here's the question I want you to ponder with Tatum and his struggles. What do you see as being the 1 or 2 things that Jayson Tatum can do to get back on track and look like top 5 Tatum instead of top 55 Tatum?
I mean, 1, shots have to go down. 2, he's got to be not afraid of the contact. I mean, it's not like he's been – I know he's been moaning about some calls, non-calls, but he's just got to get to the rim and keep trying. If you go 3 for 17, but 14 of those shots are at the rim and you just get like, okay, tip your cap. But when he starts settling, like Tatum's got to like, you know what? Don't be afraid of Anunoby. You know what, dude? I'm going to get you in foul trouble.
Right.
Okay, you might be a superior defender. You might be one of the best on-ball defenders. But you know what, OG? You about to get 4 fouls.
Right.
Because I'm going to draw some contact. I'm going to fake. You think Jalen Brunson be afraid of anybody? Like, of course, he would love to face Al in the pick and roll, but he's going to go after you because he's going to be like, I'm going to outsmart you. I'm going to get to my spot. I'm going to pump fake. You're going to be up and boom, foul. Like, Jayson, use your skill set to get to the free throw line. The free throw line is your best friend. Your best friend. To me, I just think he's got to make some fundamental changes. Hopefully, he is talking to some people. I'm sure there's people, in his circle, former coaches who are calling Jayson and saying maybe his dad, whoever is like, Jayson, like, look at some game tape. This is what you're going to do to attack the defense. Make some adjustments. And Jayson needs to make adjustments. 1, if you want to pass to the open shooter, do that. But that stuff he pulled where he dribbled into 3 defenders, what do you think was going to happen, Jayson? Then try to throw it back out to Jalen.
Right.
Like, here, Jalen, here's the grenade. Exactly. You do something. You do something with it. You take the shot with 0.2 left. Like, no, man. You couldn't take Mitchell Robinson one-on-one, even if it's for a fadeaway. If he had gotten the shot off, okay, like, you missed it, but at least you got the shot. He didn't get the shot off. Like, you know, afraid of Mitchell Robinson? Like,
right.
Let's talk about this, Sherrod. Let's talk about, like, when did Mitchell Robinson turn to Will Chamberlain?
Gary, honestly, Gary, I was thinking this morning.
When he turned to 1999, 2000 Shaq.
They treat him like he's Tim Duncan.
Like, I looked it up, Sherrod. The Knicks this year, Mitchell played in 17 games. The Knicks were 10-7 with Mitchell. They lost twice to your Pistons, Sherrod, your Pistons. I'm pointing at you. Your Pistons with Mitchell. As far as last time I checked, much respect. Homage to Nipsey Hussle.
See, that's what we're about to get this. When somebody say respectfully, that means they're about to dish you. So go ahead.
Much respect to Nipsey Hussle. Last time I checked, Mitchell played in the Detroit series, and they lost twice. So when did this? We've got to get him out of the game turn up. Like, deal with it. The dude has been around the league for a while. He's a very good defender, very little offense, good offensive rebounder. Do something.
He's a poor man's.
Why you acting like you scared? Why you acting shook?
Yeah.
The Knicks know now. This fool, they scared of us with Mitch.
When Joe was, I think you may have asked him about that, and he or Bobby asked him about just Mitchell, and Joe was talking about how we did what we did because we wanted to get him off the floor. I'm thinking, like, since when did Mitchell Robinson become Tim Duncan? Where, damn, we got to find a way to get him off the floor because he's nice. He's killing us. It's Mitchell Robinson. And the thing about Tatum I couldn't understand.
Good player.
He's a good
Nothing
player.
against Mitch. But I've never seen a team like because you again, Sherrod, your Detroit Pistons did hack a Mitch in the fourth quarter of game 6, and they came back. And that might have been the worst thing to happen to the Celtics is the Detroit Pistons being affected with hack-a-mitch.
Because that works. Let's do it.
Because it led to their comeback, and they ended up taking the lead, and then they blew the 7-point lead with 2.5 minutes left because Brunson went nuts, right? Mm-hmm. But it slowed down the Knicks' offense.
It did.
But somehow the Celtics looked at that and was like, like, no, man, don't foul to get into the bonus. If you're already in the bonus, okay. Right. Because now he's got to shoot free throws, and we saw how that went yesterday.
Right.
Okay? You foul to get into the bonus. And then Brunson gets a foul. What do you think is going to happen? How'd they win the game, Sherrod? Not with a shot. They won the game with free throws because they fouled to get into the bonus.
All right.
What are you doing? Yeah. Like, people are talking about Muzula not calling a timeout. I don't have a problem with him not trusting his players. Not a great call. Let's do the same thing we did last time, 20 seconds ago. Hopefully it's going to work. But the more egregious thing for me was them treating Mitchell Robinson like he is freaking Kareem in 1977.
Wait, was that Mitch holding that piece of paper that said 100? Was that
100? Yeah, I thought Hershey, Pennsylvania. Yeah, 1962. That was Mitch. Hey, one of you clever followers, viewers, if you, we will repost it. If you put a picture of Mitch's face holding up the 100 in that thing, as if that's because that's how the Celtics treated him, like Wilt Damn Chamberlain. And if Mitch, he was a plus. You're looking at the numbers. It all depends on who else was in the game. Like we all know, plus minus is a very, very deceptive stat. Sometimes it's effective and it's accurate. Other times you're like, homeboy came in for 3 minutes, stuck to his man. This other homeboy's man hit 3 threes and he come out of -9. And he's like, what is Sherrod doing? My man didn't even score. You know what I'm saying? I
have my man on lock.
I get my job. How I get a -9? Like sometimes that's literally how plus minus goes.
Yeah.
We have seen plus minus, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it is effective, and other times it is not accurate. It doesn't accurately describe what happened in the damn game or how that person impacted the game. So quit treating Mitchell Robinson like he is Wilt. Let's all stop this. Stop, Celtics, stop. Let's do a campaign. We can have kids singing. We can get all, we can do a charity song. We could go like We Are the World. Let's stop fouling Mitch like that. Because let's look at let's look at the plus minus from yesterday's ball game.
He had a good one though.
Okay, Josh Hart, -7. Do you think he had a good game?
He had a great game.
Exactly. Okay. OG Anunoby wasn't
Had a
didn't
great
score a
game.
lot. -11.
Defended his ass off.
Mikal Bridges. Did he win in the game?
Damn near.
-6.
Yeah.
So we all know how deceptive that is.
Right.
Brown and Tatum, we both say they were a combined 13 for 42 shooting. Both of them were a +3. Luke Cornett, +11. Kristaps, he had his moments, -9. We cannot continue, like, plus minus is deceptive. It can work and it can be accurate in someone's impact, and sometimes it isn't.
Well, we're talking about the eye test. Like, looking at those numbers and going by the eye test, they just don't add up. They don't add up. Players aren't like, again, to your point, I mean, if I'm putting my man on clamps and you guarding Jalen Brunson and he getting bucket after bucket after bucket, how is that my fault? How am I -9? I did my job. You didn't do your, so that it is a deceptive stat, but there are some instances where certain guys on the floor, their presence does help the team overall.
Totally. I'm not saying that Mitch didn't have a great impact on the game. My point is, you treating him with this, like, too much respect. Like, and it's just like, and you're a championship team, as you said, Sherrod, you're a championship team, and you're rolling out the red carpet. Like, you might as well invite him to the Met Gala and have him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you roll out the red carpet, man, he'll feel like he's a superstar. Mitch, after the game, he was like, damn, I'm glad. Shoot, that made me feel good. They wore me out the game.
Yeah,
I feel good about myself. You boosted his self-confidence. You was Mazzulla's his damn life coach. You can do it, Mitch. You're the best center in the league. You're right. I am the best center in the league. Like, what are we doing? You done got this fool's confidence sky high.
Facts.
Do you know the ovation he's going to get when he checks into the game in Game 3? Because everybody
It'll be the loudest one anyone gets. Yeah. Loudest one.
You're the best center in the league, Mitch. You can do it. Yeah, I can. What are we doing, man? What happened to the Celtics, Sherrod? You answer me that, because your Detroit Pistons had nothing but trouble for the Knicks. They gave the Knicks all kinds of problems.
They did.
If they learned how to close games, they'd have won that damn series.
It would have.
So why are the Celtics giving such a poor effort here, a poor performance?
I think it's a lot of things, and I'm going to get into actually those things right after I talk about one of our good friends, PrizePicks, and we'll talk more about certainly the Celtics. I will give you my thoughts on that in a minute. But first, let's take your PrizePicks. And look, we're in springtime. Weather's feeling right. Baseball season is underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks lineup. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash today. PrizePicks, you can mix and match your player projections from different sports, combine your favorite baseball players with players from other sports as well, and with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Again, you just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, which is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. And how you get in is real simple. You download the app today, use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even have to win. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Now, back to your question, Gary. Here's what I think is going on with your green team, okay? Couple things. First, they are feeling the pressure, finally, of being a champion. They look like a team that is playing with the weight of the world on their shoulders. They know that this is a team that they should be disposing of easily, and it seems like they're doing way more thinking than just playing the game. Because at the beginning of the season, when they smashed the Knicks on opening night and beat them decisively pretty much every game after that, they just played basketball. They weren't thinking about anything other than just playing basketball. Now they look like a team that is playing with the pressure to win because it's the playoffs, and this is a team you're supposed to beat. And I thought in that first game, they were just trying to deliver a knockout punch against a team that is built to just basically take body blows, wait for you to get exhausted and tired, and then they strike. And that's what's happening. I mean, if this were a boxing match and it went 10 rounds, the Celtics will be winning rounds 1 through 7, 1 through 8, struggle in 9th round, get that ass knocked out in the 10th. And that's kind of how this has been for them. And the sad part is that it was almost a carbon copy of game 1 in game 2. The one difference was that I thought they played a much smarter game in game 2. I thought that they did some things that they went away from, and I can't really figure out why. I mean, Jrue Holiday, I thought, set the tone with bully ball right out the gate, getting buckets around the rim. I thought Tatum, there were a couple of possessions where he passed up a 3 and kept the ball moving and had a great shot. They were doing the things that you're supposed to do when you're playing a different kind of opponent, and they're forcing you to do some things that are within your skill set to do, but you haven't necessarily had to do them in order to win. And the Celtics, they did that for a couple quarters, and then they went away from it. In New York, I do think they'll be better because I do think that they play a little bit more freely when they're on the road. They don't seem to be caught up in the head games that come with, being at home sometimes. They understand that the only people in that building that are pulling for them are the ones with the Celtics jerseys on. And I think that there's a galvanizing effect that has. And I do think they're going to play better. And I do expect them to win, but I expected them to win game 2. So there's no telling how they're going to respond. But I do know this. They're going to play better. The question is, can they sustain that good play? That's been the issue. They have not been able to play through the game. They play 3/4 of the game. And, it's like running a marathon, and you killing it for the first 22 miles, but that last 4 miles is just like you walking. And everyone is not walking. They're still running the race, and you're not. And that they've got to fix that. And this series is far from over, because the thing that I keep coming back to, even though they've dropped the first 2, is that if you go top to bottom, talent for talent, they're a better team than New York. They've shown that. I mean, they've played 8 quarters of basketball, and it's fair to say that Celtics have won at a minimum 5 of those quarters, probably 6, that they've outplayed them. And that, more times than not, is enough for you to win at least one of the 2 games. So we'll see what they got when they get back on the floor for game 3. But I definitely expect them to play a much better game than we've seen so far. And Gary, I want us to play another round of Celtics Jeopardy, because again, this season is in jeopardy, and I just don't want to get away from it so quick. So here's what we got, Gary. These are your categories to pick from, Gary. You ready?
Ready.
This is what you got.
Ready, Sherrod.
For $100, we got, well, actually not $100. I ain't paying you jack.
Yeah, where my 100 at? You my C note.
We got Kristaps Porzingis' health concerns, Derek White in the clutch, or the Knicks MVP so far is blank. Which one you want?
The Knicks MVP.
That's the one you want?
Yeah.
Okay. The player in your mind who has meant the most to the Knicks in this series, who's been that guy, he has been him. Who is that player?
I'm going to say OG Anunoby. I'm going to say 29 in game 1. And did not score much in game 2, but his defense, his impact, ability to run the floor, his defense on Tatum, yeah, he's been that guy. Now, they didn't particularly need him to score. I mean, of course, they would have loved for him to score 29 points in game 2. He had just 5, but, I just thought 4 steals. I mean, him pickpocketing Jaylen Brown, like Jaylen – he's got to go back to the drawing board with his dribble, or pick the ball up and not let them dudes just rake at it, because this is what's happening here. It's getting to the point where we're seeing the same things we saw before, where teams are just like, oh, I'm just gonna take the ball. This dude can't dribble. We're gonna go reach in, and we're gonna snatch this ball from him. We're gonna cause a jump ball. We're gonna knock it away. Like, Jaylen's got to go back to the drawing board with, I'm not going to dribble in traffic. So I think Anunoby, it's just been that X factor. We all ask, what's that? Cat's going to do his thing. Brunson's definitely going to do his thing. Who's going to be the X factor? You could say Mikal Bridges because of the 2 steals in games 1 and 2, he had one good offensive quarter in the series pretty much, and that was the fourth quarter when it counted. And you could also throw in there Josh Hart, but Anunoby's a guy that when they got him, you were like, wow, the Knicks can be different because that dude, I mean, we saw him all those years in Toronto. He's a beast. He's a physical beast, and he's tough, and he don't back down, and he's a big dude. I mean, physically just an old school looking NBA player where you look at him like, damn, I ain't mean that dude no dark alley. Right. So for me, I'm gonna say Anunoby.
Yeah, he's been really good. But one of the guys you mentioned, he's my MVP simply because of what they gave up to get him and what he's been able to deliver, and that is Bridges. He has been the defensive closer for them. They don't win. I'm not convinced they win either one of these games if he doesn't come up with arguably one of, if not the biggest plays in each of those games. And when you give up the kind of the draft collateral or capital, I should say, that they gave up to get him, and you look at the kind of season he had, it just doesn't add up. But if you're a Knicks fan, you're thinking that, that money, that investment didn't seem all that worthwhile. But considering you're 2 wins away from the Eastern Conference Finals, and considering the role that he's played in positioning you to do this, he has been worth what they paid out to get him. Because without him, you may not even be in the second round of the playoffs, let alone up 2-0 over the defending NBA champion. So Bridges is my guy for the Knicks MVP up to this point. Quick note while we're here, before I forget, for those of you listening to this show, we ask that you subscribe to the podcast, like and leave a review. And for those who are watching this show on CLNS, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the Celtics All Access YouTube channel, where you can find our show and a lot of other great Celtics content. We did the Garden Report after Game 2, and Gary, it was a record-setting night. We usually go for about an hour, hour and a half. We went for 3 hours, and we went hard. Lots of engagement, lots of people were in their feelings, Gary. I
understand.
We were like the digital Dr. Phil. Just say, come, people, give us your problems. Let's talk it out. Let me give you a hug. And we did that for 3 hours, and that's the kind of content that you're going to get, and the kind of impact that we are making here at CLNS Network. And also, please make sure you turn on your notifications so you know the instant new videos drop. And again, while you're at it, keep supporting sponsors like PrizePicks, which allows us to keep this content coming to you at a steady diet for you to consume. Now, before we get out of here, Gary, I want to end on a high note because there's a lot of crappy stuff that's going on in this series. So let's end on a relatively high note. I want to talk about my man, Jrue Holiday, who got the league social justice award that they handed out before Game 2. But beyond that, just his play, getting him back in the fold. What were some of your impressions of Jrue when he was out there in Game 2?
I thought he played well. I thought he, like you said, Sherrod, he started the game with bully ball. I thought his defense in the series against Brunson has been exemplary. That last foul, I would have rather him give up a jumper than foul him, because it's going to be automatically 2 free throws. I would have rather him go up and challenge the jumper, but not foul him like that and kind of give it to him. So if I'm, I thought he's played well. He's been the best Celtic in the series so far. I mean, Derek White has had his moments, but he missed some, especially in Game 1. He missed some open looks at the end that could have made a pivotal difference. Brown and Tatum, you definitely not the best players on the Celtics in this series. It has been basically the Jrue Holiday show. And as we talked about, Sherrod, somebody else has got to step up. I mean, if this is how they're going to play, then why even come out there? Because 25% from 3, Tatum is just not like, what's going on here? Like, this is not the team we've seen over even the last year when they lost to Miami. They played for the most part, they played good, solid basketball. Mazzulla got out coached in 23 by Eric Spoelstra. And let's be honest, Sherrod, he's being out coached by Tom Thibodeau in this series, especially with that Hack-and-Mitch BS. Let's put a kibosh on that. Whatever Mitch does, he does. But, stopping the game, unless they're in the bonus and you're going to, put them to the free throw line and that's where he's at his most vulnerable. Okay, do not put an opposing team in the bonus in the fourth quarter to get a guy out of the game. Let's not do that. So I think Jrue has been good, but he needs help.
Yeah, he does. And when you look at this roster, Gary, who do you think is best suited to provide that help?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna be that dude that believes in Tatum. I'm gonna believe in Tatum. I'm gonna be that guy, and I know Tatum is definitely had his criticisms over the years. This is one of his legacy games. This is one of those games. I asked him today, you're a basketball historian. I told him, you remember, you might have been 15 or 11 or, maybe 15, 16 years old, but you remember that LeBron game 6 at the Garden when he scored 45 and he had that look on his face like he was just a rabid dog and nobody was going to stop him. You remember that. You're a Kobe guy. Kobe had 10, 12 games like this where it's like, Cobes, you're going to have to score 40 tonight because the Lakers need you, and you're the biggest dog on this team. You got to play like a dog on this this is his moment to just say, all right, fellas, I'd have been cutting up, messing up, screwing up, making mistakes, not hitting shots. Follow me. I'm willing us a game tonight. Those shots that were going out, were bouncing out, they're going in. I'm getting to the line. I'm playing defense. I'm stretching the floor. I'm running the point forward. I'm getting people ball in their spots. Like this, it's here. So I'm gonna be a believer in Tatum. We've seen it from him. This is why he's one of the top 5 players in the league. But there definitely has to be a moment where he looks in the mirror and goes, all right, Jayson, like this is your time, and this is your moment in front of Tracy Morgan and Spike and Ben Stiller and all the other New York Fat Joe and 50 Cent, everybody else, Nas, everybody,
Right.
What I'm saying? Shoot. Yep. Kid and Play,
Kids look that up. That was they don't know who Kid and Play.
X-Clan, Brand Nubian, Tribe Called Quest, all of them gonna be in there.
Jungle Brothers.
The Jungle Brothers, exactly. Kumo D, LL, they're gonna be sitting next to each other. I mean, it's gonna be everybody gonna be there. Brooklyn, the Bronx, Long Island, Eric B. and Rakim got tickets. So what you gonna do, Jayson? What you gonna do?
Oh goodness. I'm gonna go with Jalen. I think Jalen showed signs of kind of getting back on track in the first half. For him, to me, it's just a matter of sustaining what he did in the first half of game 2 throughout the course of the game. When he tried to dunk on somebody, I'm like, okay, body bag Brown is back in the building. He's trying to put people in body bags. I needed to see that. To feel good about him getting closer to being who he is. The thing that Jalen has to do, and I swear I think it's harder for him just because he's physically not where he wants to be, but he's got to fight through that and use that mid-range jumping off 2 feet, mid-range jumper when you match up with Jalen Brunson. He can't guard you. Even with your vertical like 2 or 3 inches shorter, he still can't block your shot. He still can't guard you. Get to your spot and raise up. It's that simple from a concept standpoint. And I know it's not that easy in terms of actual application, but damn it, you're 6'6", 215, 220, and he's not. Use what you got to get where you want to get to. So I think he will do that in game 3. I think when they go back and look at the film of game 2, and they'll see that there were so many times where they just didn't take advantage of the mismatch. They didn't go and attack New York the way they should have, and that more than anything else was a major factor in them catching the loss. Now, before we get out of here, and again, just another reminder for those listening to the show, we ask that you subscribe to the podcast and like and leave a review. And for those watching it again on CLNS, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to CLNS Media and Celtics All Access YouTube channel, where you can find our show and a lot of other great Celtics content. And again, please make sure you turn on your notifications so that you'll know the instant we drop a new video. And so Gary, final words, any final thoughts as we break out of here?
Well, I mean, there's still hope if you're a Celtic faithful, but we need to see a different team in game 3. Like, if they are, if they what we think they are in the late Dennis Green, they will show up and show out in game 3.
Yep, I think they will. I think they will. And I mean, it goes back to, when you were a kid. I mean, listen, you don't need to let the sun don't have to set before you put them kids to bed. So Celtics, put them Knicks to bed early. The street light don't have to come on before you put them to bed. Put them to bed early and let them sleep. Don't wake them up like you've done in these last 2 games. So we shall see. Celtics looking to get back in this series, down 2-0 as the series shifts to New York City for game 3 against the Knicks. For Gary Washburn, this is Sherrod Blakely, and this is the Big 3 NBA Podcast. We out.